right, guys, we are looking at Unfiltered Waters today. We're looking at, they're interviewing Simone Manuel. Now, I've never met Simone. I've never talked to her. I have no opinion on her as a person. You know, we're keeping it all the way funky on this. You know, we're going with some blackness today. I don't know what type of black person she is. If you know, you know. If I had to guess, probably got some Oreo-ness going on. For those of you who don't know what that is, it means black on the outside while inside. It's not a good term to use and throw around. I know when I was in school, I didn't really fit in. You know, I was too white to be black and too black to be white. Those of you who don't know, that just means a black person who speaks proper English, probably intelligent. And you don't fit the stereotype of being black, but then you fit kind of the mannerisms of being white, but you're black, right? So, you know, got kind of ostracized from all social groups because of that. But yeah, we're just going to see what Simone's about. I think I've heard her talk a few times, not enough to like know her voice as a dialogue that I could replicate in my head, but you know, we're seeing what these ladies are going to talk about today. And one thing that's interesting, I saw on a post, I think it was on my feed, of Katie going to a practice with a club team, and I remember thinking, like, I wonder if these people know who Katie Hoff is, right? Because there's times when I'm coaching kids and I'll be like, I'll name drop like Pearsall, Garrett Weber-Gale, and the kids are like, who is that? And it's like, how do you not know who these people are? Like, these are the G's of our sport. Anyway, so shout out to Katie. Let's get it.
Episode. And we've got another special treat coming out of Austin, Texas, an in-person interview with a returning guest. She was on.
I did not know that Simone is here in Austin. How about that? She's probably training here in Austin. Oh, I thought she was in stayed with the sprinters with Herb. Interesting. So she chose to come with the endurance coach rather than stay with the sprint coach. Wait, that would mean Katie's here in Austin too. Wait, what? Let's just let it run.
Podcast last year before the Paris Olympic Games, and she's returning now. We have Olympic gold medalist, American record holder, world champion, Simone Manuel. And this was a really fun episode for me because it just teaches the lesson of just how much better in-person conversations are. And I felt so much more connected to Simone. And I think a lot of our conversation last time was talking about her overtraining syndrome and what she overcame after the Tokyo Olympics, actually before the Tokyo Olympics and then leading into 2024. And it's been a really hard climb for her of just kind of digging out of this hard. So
buying this boat was a total no-brainer.
Oh, no-brainer? If you got a new
guys.
boat, the smart thing to say is,
like a good neighbor, State Farm
I need to
is
remember
there.
that.
Your State Farm agent can help.
I need to get the whatever the special YouTube thing is with ads. Does it in the comments? Let me know. Does it have ads still? I thought I remember seeing that even if you get it, it still has ads. So that's gonna be totally busted. It would suck. I'm paying money to avoid those pop-ups, and then there's still pop-ups. Anyway, let's get back to it.
Actually swim left. Also turn the current off and just use it as a normal pool. We have been in it every single night after dinner. Caitlin refuses to get out of it, and it's just so amazing.
and just blocks the pain.
Mm-hmm.
So you just don't, because otherwise why would you come back and do it again?
Yes.
So I think 3 weeks is usually what I took. And it's enough pain that you're like, okay, like I can do this, but you're still like, why did I do this?
Yeah.
So, and you were telling me.
She cripped out over there, rocking all blue. About to throw some C's on the set.
Or that the schedule is switched up, which is mind-blowing to me because I always thought Monday was colors.
Yeah.
And it's not now.
Yeah.
It's Tuesday.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, Bob, I feel like, is a very routine person.
The most.
And most swim coaches are. It's like usually you have that specific weekly schedule. You know what you're getting on each day. But ever since I've been with Bob, colors have been on Monday afternoon. And now they're on Tuesday. And I'm
I'm not sure why he did it. It's different, but I do like it.
Yeah, I would too.
It's only week 2. I don't know how I feel when we get to like week 5 and 6 and the colors are heightened.
Yep.
But just not coming in on Monday morning and having that like colors anxiety for Monday PM just
so
feels
real.
so much better. And especially coming off the weekend, I think it kind of like is tough for your second practice of the week. So just kind of switching it up and doing something different on Monday and then still hitting it at the beginning of the week on Tuesday, I feel like has just, from more than anything, a mental standpoint, has helped a lot.
And just enjoyment. Like, I feel like you can't enjoy, you have Sunday scaries. Like people who are in a corporate job have Sunday scaries for their corporate job. We have Sunday scaries for colors.
Yeah, you can't even really get through the Monday morning practice peacefully. You're just like,
intrusive thoughts.
I know I can't be the only one that feels that way. So
you're not.
I think a lot of people on the team are like excited.
You see that, America? That's the genetics right there. Yeah, yeah. That's that Black Americano genetics right there. Look at those. Look at the gun show. Smith and Wesson. Shout out.
That's
awesome.
It's on a single day, and I think that helps a lot.
Yeah, that's even better.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, I feel like we should just get right into it. So there's been let's get right into it, but I want to talk about just your performances, and I just want to preface this conversation. Ever since you and I and Missy chatted, before the trials, before Paris, it's been really emotional for me to watch you. I'm serious.
Aww.
Like, I think I teared up, watching your 100 at Olympic trials last year, because I just feel like you've had to overcome so much, and I got beaten to the ground. I didn't have overtraining syndrome, but I know that feeling of feeling like you're in a hole, trying to battle out of it. And so to see you actually, I never did battle out of it. Like, and to see you do that just would like really hit me in the feels. And so
thank you.
Yeah. And so I think now seeing, you go 52 for the first time since 2019.
She said overtraining syndrome. She said it like it's a mental thing, because it's literally a physical thing where your body needs to rest more. I don't know. That was a weird comment.
A barrier. I want to hear how that felt and just how you felt about the summer overall, and then we can get into all the tea.
Yeah. I mean, I have mixed feelings about the summer.
Yeah.
I think a lot of swimmers, but definitely myself, I have really high expectations, especially with knowing what my best times are.
Right.
It's really been a challenge for me to not compare who I was, in my 2017, 2019 prime to where I am today. But as you mentioned, like everything I've overcome, I constantly remind myself I have to give myself grace, and there's a lot to be really proud of. So I definitely wasn't the most pleased with some of my results this summer, especially considering how I felt like I had trained in practice. But I've been around swimming long enough to know that, your hard work pays off. And I've been around swimming long enough to know that sometimes you can work super hard and the results aren't going to be there at that moment.
Right.
But that doesn't mean it's never going to come. So that was kind of like my mindset and emotions when I regrouped after World Championships. But still so much to be proud of. Like you said, breaking 53 after 6 years. There was a time last year I was like, I don't even know if I can do that again.
She slipped a ton of water. I've watched her film a lot, and this is especially for Black athletes. You cannot push the water back to your feet at all. Like, you have to get the bouncing stuff. Like, you have to do it if you're Black. You have to. And I think a lot of it has to do with our, I don't know, over dominance the right word, but like a dominant leg strength, which kind of like breaks the equation of like how do I say this? Where our kick is making us move too fast and you can't grab because there's just too much propulsion created by it for the equation of being able to grab the water. Like, I can grab the water better when I'm not kicking. Like, if I'm pushing it straight back, I have to not be kicking. But if I'm going all out, like, I cannot push the water back. I have to leverage and anchor properly and with the right surface area in the right direction. And I've watched a lot of Simone's, not a lot, but enough of it underwater to see that she pulls wide, right? That's a no-go right away. But then she pushes back for sure. which is even more of a no-go if you're black. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So just to see that is really encouraging. Swam a 156 for the first time since 2019 at the meet after World Champ Trials. So that was really good for me. And then the 50 free. Don't think too much about it because I didn't really do any sprint work. So I just kind of raced and just did the best I could. But definitely a lot of positives.
Yeah, and I guess I should have prefaced more because I'm saying that knowing that mentality, right? You always want to go in the best. It's so impossible to not think, oh, but my best time is X, right? And so I imagine for you, you have these two voices in your head. One where you're like, okay, I should be really proud of that. What you just said, 6 years.
It's like a new best time, but it's not a best time.
But you're like, but then you have the other
They still keep calling American record holder, before we get up on the blocks. And sometimes that really messes with me a little bit because I'm like, not to say that I'm not deserving.
You know something you never seen? I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, if I had made the Olympics and I was winning medals, before every, when they walk you out, I'd be rocking my medals. Like some Genghis Khan type shit, or holding them in my hand, look at my, like I just beheaded some generals, you know what I'm saying? But you never see that, right? And that's part of the reason why nobody adores our sport. Show me some personality, you know what I'm saying? Show me some arrogance. Show me some shit that I can say, that's fly.
Title because I did go that time, but, sometimes it's tough when they announce, the American record holder and that time is a 52.0 and then I swim a 52.8. It's kind of it's a tough battle that I have to deal with and continue.
Why don't they just tell them, go to the announcer? Because we're all in that level. You can talk to, go to your announcer and be like, hey, can you not say this? I'm just a guy now. Just Simone, go tell the announcer not to say it.
Okay with.
Right.
It's really just about continuing to chip away and progress. But yeah, as you were saying, those two voices are always kind of fighting each other.
Always there. And that's, you're hearing that seconds before you step on the block. So that's that's a hard thing, I think, for some people to understand. Something that, not triggering, but that could elicit emotion that you don't want at that moment. Are you kind of walking out?
I think this is important to recognize, too. That is imposter syndrome. In the way that at least I understand it. I don't know if that might be the official definition of imposter syndrome. But what I find is, I'd say there's one thing that's a definite saying that I definitely lean into, and the second one is kind of very close. I might have just made this up just now. The first one is wear your weaknesses like armor so nobody can hurt you with them. Okay? The second one is that you need to lean into what serves you. Right? And she's describing that when she hears this, thing about it, you hear this positive thing about you and it makes you shrink. That's not good, right? I think this comes from playing other sports, but if you say that stuff about me, I'm leaning into it. I'm the monkey with the big nuts, okay? So let me know in the comments what y'all think about that. What do you think about when you hear good things about yourself? How do you react? You shrink? Do you allow yourself to get smaller, or you lean into your greatness, right? Because especially if you believe in manifestation, you hear good stuff, you really have no choice but to lean into it if you want positive things to come from it. So I think that's interesting.
Airing that you're going to hear that, or does it kind of just hit you at certain moments than others?
I feel like it's just hit me at certain moments. It's not like it's always said.
Breaking news, we are just getting that a wild high-speed chase is underway.
This movie is going to be sick.
Which is great, but
I can't wait for the Neutron movie.
I don't know if they always say it. Maybe, they do give introductions. It'd be like, 7-time national champion or American record holder. Yeah. Okay. But I think definitely in the big moments, when I definitely felt it at World Champ Trials, because that's the big taper meet. That's what everybody's focused on. When they say it at a pro swim series, I wouldn't necessarily say it bothers me as much, but definitely when everybody is trying to swim their fastest at that point,
right?
It's it's a little tough.
Yeah. Well, because I'm sure your mind goes to
No pressure, no diamonds, guys.
Other people are hearing this.
No pressure, no diamonds.
And not necessarily competitors, right? 'Cause to a competitor, it's like, hey, remember, I'm the freaking American record holder. But to the audience, right? I was, you're performers.
That's what I'm talking about, Katie. You gotta lean into it. Yeah. I'm the silverback. I'm the silverback.
Gabby just said, like, ultimately in our sport, we are entertainers and performers.
Yes.
Which is a really weird thing.
But in swimming, we don't entertain or perform. We're just cookie cutter. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Oh my God, that's so good to see you. Yes, I had a good race. Like, swag your stuff up, swimmers.
Actually conceptualize, but people are coming to be entertained, which is weird to think about.
Yeah.
But it's the reality. So talk to me about, so you go to World Trials, you're like, okay, check, like get on the team. I know you would have loved to be individual, but another step in the right direction. It sounded like training camp was magical until it wasn't. What was your experience?
I would probably have to say the same thing. Like,
okay.
I felt like I was gaining momentum in the ways that I wanted to hopefully swim as best as I could on those relays.
Yeah.
And then I feel like, the team overall kind of hit rock bottom like real fast with the illness. And I think it really shook everybody up as much as I feel like we handled it as gracefully as we could.
Yeah.
I feel like, at least for myself and kind of observing other people and checking in, we're kind of like on pins and needles. Like, if you didn't get sick the first couple days, you're like, maybe I'm in the clear. And then you weren't in the clear. And then some people, I would guess, relapse. Like,
that's what it seems like.
They were sick for 2 or 3 days, were fine. And then 3 days later, they were sick again. So it was just, when you're hearing about other people's experiences, it's not to...
So guys, I'm gonna say this. This is maybe mentally one of the most important lessons. I talked to a kid, actually had a lesson with this week. It's protect your mental at all costs. And I told him all the examples. One was during taper, I know that if I go 100 kick, just kind of, let's say 60% of max effort. If I can go 112 chilling, I know this meet's over. I'm about to have a good meet. And I remember there was it was my last national championship with the swim act. I was a 119, 118, right? And I was like, that's not good. Done. Right now, obviously, to me, that my brain doesn't really work like that consciously. All out is all out. Max effort's max effort, right? I'm not going to not be able to flex my legs as hard as I can and put forth all out because of that, right? It's not going to stop me from doing that. But I would be completely lying to say that subconsciously is not going to have some type of effect on me, right? There's no way I could say that. Because I know, and I've acknowledged that if I'm not this, then I'm less than, right? And at that time, my less than was not good enough to make a team, right? So I'm sure it did affect me. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is, they're saying they're on pins and needles. No, you got to think you're Superman, Superwoman. Yeah, that's right. I hope I get sick just so I can prove to everybody how badass I am. Yeah, I went to the meet and I was sick and I beat your ass. What? Right? You need to have that confidence because, so during the COVID stuff, I don't know if I should have said that word just now. I'm going to throttle my shit, but I stop cussing so much. I'm a big time believer in that mental strength and math. And the second, at a certain point, I realized I had to start downloading and screenshotting things because they were being wiped from the internet as soon as anything counter to COVID was being posted was being deleted from the web. So I still have it. And the second leading cause of illness, I think it may have been in America. This is not COVID related, but just illness. No, it was COVID related. Number one was having comorbidity, so having stuff going on before illnesses and whatever, bad health before COVID. The second one was mental stress. The second leading killer of COVID, or co-killer with COVID, was mental stress. Mental stress. And unless you think you're Superman, it's going to get you. So that's why I was saying this, kid, like, you have to be careful about your mentals, right? Like pins and needles, you don't get a choice to be scared if you want to survive that and be well. Like, you need to force yourself to believe that you're invincible and you're unstoppable. And, you know, swimmers at this level, and at least in my experience, athletes in general at this level are all delusional, right? Like, they have a delusional level of confidence where they believe that they are high on their own supply. So it should be a very easy thing for these people to convince themselves that they're unstoppable, which is probably also a reason why some of them got sick and swam poorly, because they believed they were going to get sick. And that same delusional confidence swings both ways, right?
Selfish, but in a way you're like, okay, well, like, am I next? And that causes a lot of anxiety. And to some extent, I think it kept us from completely focusing on our performances.
Which foundation is good for a steamy situation? All right.
Also, well spoken. Shout out. I know what you went through, homegirl.
As an athlete, sometimes having that distraction, but was it the healthiest distraction? No. And so that's probably my assessment about the trip, especially for me. Training camp was going so well. And then I think whether you got sick or not, like, you were affected, like, mentally and emotionally.
God, yeah. I mean, it's around you, right? Like, just like positive energy is infectious.
Yeah.
Not saying negative energy.
That's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm doing this YouTube and this Instagram stuff, guys. I just said all this. See, I should have my own talk show.
Yeah, these negative things are happening to people. Did you, may I ask, did you get hit? Okay.
Yeah.
Why do they have flashcards and note cards and stuff and get them branded? I get you want like the brand to be everywhere, but if you're watching this on YouTube, like, your brand's there, and they have the watermark, and they have the title, so it's not like they're not gonna. The brand won't be seen. You know what I'm saying? It also just seems like a waste of money. Just like, put it on your cell phone, just scroll, or write it down. You know. Anyway, that's just me tripping.
I was probably, I guess, one day after, I guess, what is
Patient
it?
Zero?
Patient Zero, yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And obviously being a leader on the team, you have to think about everybody, right? You have to think about the team. You have to think about your own mental health, your own physical health. What are those conversations like in these?
I bet it's going to be a very weak-minded conversation, like, oh, like, you're going to be okay, and not some like, yeah, I got it to tone you down because you was about to go in there and wreck shop, so he had to bring you down a notch, but you're still going to be all right. Let's see what it was.
Meetings.
Really, it was just about being there for one another.
Yeah.
I feel like the only thing we could really do was check in on one another and make sure they were okay. And that is, I think, what helped our team pull through. It wasn't like, oh, I'm...
Also, guys, when you're watching this stuff, like, I am, like, from basketball, just really big on the mental side. And when you're in those sports, you're trying to break somebody mentally. Like, it ain't about winning. It's like, because if I can get the person to quit, I don't have to worry about them anymore. So observe the word choice. Like, I think she said pull through. Like, that's not a good word choice, right? Now, this is not me dissing anybody. I don't know Simone at all. I've never been around her competing, and when she gets in her zone, to say if she's a killer or not, or if she's a winner or not, or if she's just there or not, right? But in general, if I use the word pull through, it's almost like, I just, like, by the grace of God, like, it's this position of weakness. And you know, from even my other posts, particularly my one about Phelps's position on USA swimming, is never, ever operate from a position of weakness, guys. Look, if there's one quote, especially for you young men out there, that I could say you need to take with you for the rest of your life, especially if you're a young man or an old man, whatever, is people will forgive you for being aggressive. They will never forgive you for being a P word. Okay? Approach life from a position of strength and ask for forgiveness if you mess up, and own your mistakes.
Sick, I'm not worried about other people, or I'm more sick than you type of thing. It really was genuinely everybody just trying to...
But also know your place. Right? If you need to be humble before someone who's better than you, then, you know, not lessen yourself, but acknowledge that they're better than you, and act as such. respect the hierarchy.
Band together, build some positive energy and momentum. And of course, the cliche statement, but it's very true. Like,
all right, we're only doing 30 minutes, so we're going to jump ahead and see what else they're talking about.
Things that are really, really special that I'll never forget.
Wow, that is special. I feel like, you've broken through to the other side of, I'm not this nervous young gun where I can't even begin to have gratitude. I'm just everywhere.
It's just fun. I'm swimming fast. Everything's great.
Yeah. And then you I feel like athletes who are able to have the longevity that you've had breakthrough to be like, oh my gosh, wow, I'm on Team USA. Wow, I'm a leader now.
Yeah.
It's cool to see that progression. So good for you to be able to have the awareness to find. You found gratitude in a moment where you just threw up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm not even saying that as a joke. That.
Oh my God, this is going to sound bad. Swimmers are a different breed, bro. It's a different breed. I can only compare this to just because the way I grew up being around hoopers. The things that swimmers go through is almost like, and I didn't hear the whole thing out. So this is just off of this short clip. So I could be completely wrong based on what they said before. But it's almost like we are these sheltered nerds. She said you threw up and found gratitude. It's people who come from the hood have gratitude because they had nothing. Right? It's instant. It's instant, the gratitude, right? People who come from nothing. But to not have that as your natural state of being says a lot about where you come from, right? That there's no struggle, for you to be grateful for. And I said I could completely be misreading this, but I don't think I am, just in general what they said and what I've observed from the swimmers and swimming community in general. And it sounds bad, but that's just an observation. This is not an indictment on anybody. I can't believe I have to say that because people are going to get butthurt and take it personal. Not talking about these two ladies, but just people in general. But it's just something I've noticed. I don't know. I don't know what the solution would be to that, but just something I noticed.
Those girls rallied around you. I'm sure you felt trust to be able to share that with them, to know that it wasn't going to mess things up, but it was actually going to bring you guys to be able to perform at your best. So that's cool. So the meet ends, and you mentioned, obviously, you didn't give it time to, kind of sink in. The meet finishes, you get to take a break. And I know you have differing thoughts, and I guess I'll preface before we even jump into this is, I think that it's when someone gets in a fight like a boyfriend and girlfriend and everyone has all these emotions and they say things they don't mean, I feel like there's validity on both sides in certain perspectives. I just think things get blown out of proportion online, not sitting down face to face. I wish everyone could just get in a big room. And so I'm just gonna preface with that. I don't know what your thoughts are on it.
I think what was a meme is so
LAPD on scene.
Minimal in a way. I think their message was definitely massive with the meme itself, but there wasn't a lot of context or nuance.
Yeah, see, I have no idea what meme we're talking about, so I might be wrong in my previous analysis.
In terms of what was put out there. And so I think when Michael kind of came out and said, I was basically talking about the organization, not the team itself, it made a lot of sense.
See, this is where you gotta ask the hard-hitting questions, right? I'll tell you right now, that's bullshit. He was talking about the team. He was talking about the teams. Lottie was there with the eyeballs right with it. They were talking about y'all. You gotta be I don't know. I feel like that's where you just say you gotta be a real one and be like, nah, he was talking shit about us too. I wouldn't, if I was on the team and he said that and we were performing poorly, I'd be like, he's definitely talking about us because we are performing poorly, right? And I don't know. You gotta be real on that one.
But my biggest gripe is just the timing. If you're gonna put that out there, don't put that out there in the middle of the competition. But then also at the same time, I recognize that probably timing for him and when he wanted the message kind of having more visibility, it had to be put out during.
How about you step up and don't suck? Huh? How about that? See, this is what I'm talking about. Like the privilege, I guess position of privilege is the right word. If you get, and I'm not even going to that. Let's just say with a swimmer, very famous, I made a comment about him getting absolutely clowned, and he did not take that very kindly. And my sports background, like I said, is in basketball. And if you get dunked on, you go get, teabag nuts on your face, gorilla humped in the air while they're shaking the rim. Like, there's no hiding from that. Like, you're humiliated, right? Two things you can do. One, cry about it. Two, go get your get back. Three, I guess there's more things, just keep playing. You got to play through it, right? And the ultimate way to make sure it never happens is you don't get dunked on. Like, I had people try to dunk on me before I take them out the air. Ball with this hand, or depending on their hand, elbow with the other hand. Go up, or you come down on the ball hard. Like, nah. That's how you prevent somebody from talking shit about you. Handle your business preemptively.
Timing. So it's kind of like weighing the pros and cons of like, yes, maybe this will be, as you mentioned before, one of these full circle moments that at the time, terrible decision.
And use it as fuel. Like, what the heck? And that's the thing. Like I've said before, I know me and folks are cut from similar cloths. Is that supposed to motivate you? It's supposed to motivate you. Like that's a very. I'm going from my side. I'm not saying she should have said this, but I've been like, oh yeah, it motivated us, and we stepped up, and we kicked ass.
Shouldn't say terrible, but I think a lot of people think it was terrible.
Like, you can't be challenged and you cower.
Yeah, ill-timed decision, but
not ill-timed. Shout out to Phelps. He said what needed to be said. They don't fear us anymore. They don't fear Team USA anymore. You went from being somebody that you didn't have to worry about racing against because they quit, because in their mind they knew they couldn't beat Team USA, to giving them life and giving them breath. Should be embarrassed.
When we get to the other side and hopefully see the changes that he suggested, and maybe some of the changes that I think a lot of us, or I'll just speak for myself, probably feel is needed, then we'll look back on it and be like, it all worked out, because if maybe he hadn't done it at this timing, we wouldn't be really moving the needle as quickly as we need to.
Yeah. What are your things that you feel like would be better support as an athlete?
I mean, definitely number one for me would be national team support. I don't feel as though we're probably getting all the necessary support that we need to get. I definitely think that with Greg being in the position as the national team director, I think he's had a lot of eyes on what's been going on in a way as a elite coach, as a Stanford coach, as a coach that's been on national team trips and has spoken to athletes, has spoken to me when I was training under him and telling him some of my concerns and issues. I definitely feel like he has a really good lens on some of what national team athletes and athletes as a whole and the organization need. But that would definitely be my number one thing. It's really hard to be in this sport.
Oh yeah.
Yo, what the hell does that mean when they say national team support? I wish somebody would actually talk. I guess in their circle, right? It's kind of hard to remember that the non-person who's been at that level has no idea what the hell you're talking about. Because like when I think about it, it's just like, okay, Eddie's in charge of my training. I just continue following his plan. I got my technique work. I got my teammates. All out is all out. Like, I don't understand. Like, nutrition stuff, like, I'm a grown man. I take care of that myself. But like, if they do, it's nice. But I've already taken care of that stuff in my own personal life. I just keep it going. So like, I wish they'd explain and elaborate like what national team support means. Like, because I don't know. And I don't think a lot of people know.
From a financial perspective, and I think in some ways when we look at the budget or we look at what, the CEO is offered in a lot of these high level positions, their salary is going up and our stipend is staying the same.
Yeah.
Which is a hard truth, but I don't know how all the financing things work, but it's kind of hard not to feel a little slighted.
For sure. I mean, I think, the CEO salary, obviously, I put myself in your guys' position. I mean, even when I was swimming, like, I feel like it just wasn't as talked up. I think social media, Bobby said this when we had a conversation, is just brought everything and information to the forefront. So it's like, I can't even remember people talking about that because just information wasn't readily available. And it's a positive thing, I think. I think more transparency is a good thing. I think the thing that's interesting to me, because I go on all these, as soon as information comes down, I go on like,
Cascade Platinum Plus has the grease fighting.
Run down those rabbit holes. Me too. I'm like that. Waste a lot of your life doing that too.
I don't even know what it's called. Like, I text everyone. I'm like, I need to know information.
It's rabbit hole. I got you, Katie. Rabbit hole.
And I found out, and I wish this was more public knowledge, and maybe it is, and I just don't realize, but there was apparently like a vote with the athlete stipend to, instead of increase it for like a select few, it was to spread it around to more athletes. And that's why it hasn't increased, to my knowledge. And so wouldn't that make you feel a little bit, I'm not talking about the CEO.
No, yeah.
But wouldn't that make everyone feel a little less slighted? Because the information that you're getting, I'd be like, are you kidding me? I'm getting the same amount of money as Katie got in 2010, 15 years ago. Yeah. Like, money, cost of living is more expensive now, all the things. And so I think that piece I found out 2 days ago, and I was like, I wonder why that's not being publicized. Because that is a great thing to be able to keep more athletes in the sport.
It's because people don't understand business. That's going to be it, guys. So we're just going to close this up. It's because people don't understand money, right? Money is... Okay, here's another thing that I want you guys to take for it, because I truly believe swimming it's the greatest life tool. And one thing I know I've done personally is or athletes in general struggle with taking their lessons from sport and converting them into like an internship value system that they would have for a job into actual skills that are required for a job. So like, just say sales, right? You as an athlete are a high performing athlete. That's important. As a high-performing athlete who's ever been selected for anything, a relay, a spot on the team, a spot on your conference team, a spot on the national championship team, a spot on the Team USA team, you are a high-performance salesman, and you don't even know it. So the key is taking that and turning it into showing how this correlates to the actual skill of sales, and then you having the confidence that you are this high-level salesman, even though you've never done a lick of actual, like, what the rest of the world would see as sales work. And anyway, like, to understand business, right, in the terms of money is not meant to buy things, right? And I think once you start looking at cash flow like that, you can start to see why swimming, at least like from a financial side, geez, I'm sorry guys, this dog is it dandering everywhere, and it makes me itch. But so money is a value holder of time. It's not meant to buy things, right? So for instance, there's a bunch of different ways you can look at this. You go to work, you exchange your time for money, right? There is, say, my Goldilocks Zone course or my technique solutions. The amount of time, it took me 5 years to learn all that stuff. You can get it in now, 3 seconds, right? The Goldilocks Zone took 10 years to me to figure out. You can get it in one or less. You can get it in less than a day, right? And then, right, so we look at now the opportunity cost. So when I had created my technique solutions, right, at my highest earning potential I was at, if I was able to have access to that my very first day of coaching, I would have made, obviously I'm not talking for taxes, I'm talking about expense. I'm just talking about if I had that, and we say that time is an exchange of value, right? So let's just say, I wasn't making this much. I was doing very well, but let's just say 200,000, right? say 2013, I'm making 2023, I'm making $200,000 a year, right? And in 2014, I was making like $18,000 a year, right? So 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So that's 9 years, right? So if I had that information on day one in 2014, that's almost $2 million that I missed out on. So now if it's priced at $200 for you to get the content, the Technique Solutions Today, that means that you can start in the same amount of time, because time is going to pass either way. In 9 years' time, you will have had the skill set to earn $2 million versus not having it. Right? If there's two parallel realities running, right? One where you have the technical solutions, one where you don't, right? One of them, you're going to out earn the don't one, right? So when you look at it like that, do I want to spend 10 years figuring it out myself, or do I want to make $2 million over 10 years, right? So when we get to this money talk, if they deserve to have less, as much as it sounds in the terms of business, because they're paying them money and getting no return on investment, right? So I've done groundwork on getting club swimmers getting new club swimmers, right? The time it takes me to do that, like getting in the trenches and doing that, if I pay the swim, let's say 50 kids, if I pay the national teamer more, let's say I take them from 50K to 75K, right? If that doesn't yield me 50 kids, it's not worth me paying them. You see what I'm saying? Like, I might as well go do the groundwork for half a year, right? If I can get 50 kids in half a year and that nets me, let's say 100,000, but if I can pay 50 kids and just you being you will inspire 50 kids to join, I've saved money and I've gained my kids, right? I've gained 100,000, but I've also spent less to get it faster. Right, so maybe now instead of me paying you $25,000, I pay you $50,000. It gets me 100 kids instantly, right? Instead of me spending either 2 times the amount of people, 2 employees going for a half year, or me going for a full year of time, right? Now, if I can do that instantly, now I have time to make other moves to make more money, right? So if your athlete isn't inspiring more kids to get involved in the sport, there's no point in paying them. Which also, when we get down to leadership now, they need to have, and I honestly thought that watching this, I was like, what are the athletes doing to increase their numbers? Nothing. They're not running swim schools. They're not having field house days. Like, if I would say, hey, this is why I say the leadership piece, the CEO of USA Swimming, this obviously won't work. It would work a little bit, but it won't. But let's just say it would work. I say, okay, I'm going to pay everybody. Everybody is going to be bumped up from 50K a year to 80K a year, right? But you have to make 60 appearances to swim schools, and you have to be involved in 20 lessons. So just 24 hours of lessons, so like community service, right? 24 hours of swim lessons, signing autographs, getting in the water with kids, getting them signed up, right? And if you get me 50 kids, then every kid over that is $500 bonus, right? A commission. Right? That would justify me paying. Now, I'm not even talking about the commission part, but if I could get that without me actually having to sit down and do the work and figure out the systems and then go out there and implement it, if I can just pay this person money to make that money back or make more money back, I'm going to pay you. Right? But swimmers don't understand this, and that's why we're all broke. So let me know what you think about all that. Let me know what you think about Simone. Let me know what you think about the protecting your mental energy and being aggressive versus being passive, and how people will always forgive you for being aggressive. Let me know what you think about the money situation in swimming and how we aren't getting paid more because we don't deserve to be paid more. You know, you're not giving anybody a reason to exchange their money for your time, or vice versa. So let me know, drop a comment, make sure you subscribe, turn on that notification bell so you'll know when we drop the video. And like I said, leave a comment. Let me know what you think on these topics. Peace.